Hola Mariana. Sí, lo mismo digo. Sí, lentamente estamos yendo hacia el invierno. Aún no, pero estamos yendo. Está vientoso. Hey Fluffy, welcome. Thank you for joining, guys. It had been a very difficult week um, in the K-pop community. At least from my experience, my perspective, not only doing this channel, but also being a part of the K-pop community. It's my first time actually, like going through this event, this loss. So it's so heartbreaking, like really, like. I was watching a few TikToks and hola Laura, and also a lot of like Twitter, because it's impossible not to open and see it. But um, it's like somehow now I'm like a bit traumatized. You know, every time I open Twitter, I'm afraid that something is going to come out. Like the other day, I freaked out because I misread. I didn't read correctly a sentence about an article about a member losing their grandparent. I honestly thought that it was about them, like it was about the idol having. So definitely it's a bit like shocking, like yeah, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure. Like I wasn't part of the K-pop community when that happened, but I watched the videos and I cry every time. I cry every time. I I I literally cry because, and also I think that it's a bit like sometimes you're like, why were so many cameras in there? You know, like I understand that people want to be part of some rituals, and since they are a public figure, maybe people think that it's the best. But sometimes there are some things that need to be kept private, because it's so, like, even for me, like, I wasn't part of any fandom back then. I didn't know anything about K-pop. But rewatching those, that it's not that I intently look for it, they just come out. I somehow like had to block a few because like I was like, stop it, like really stop it. This is not okay. Like, why is it like appearing every time? Like, stop it. It's a bit disrespectful. Like, stop it. It seems like, it's done on purpose to somehow like keep keep toying with the open wound. I wasn't following K-pop when it happened to Jonghyun either, but I remember hearing about it in the news. Yeah, it's just that these kinds of incidents, I watched different points of view from people saying that them from the perspective of being depressed and dealing with mental health issues, they felt like him, and these are things that, this is why I wanted to do this live, because I believe that this had been my purpose since I started the channel. I always had talked to you about this. I do have lives where I used to remind you the subject over and over about how important is to remember that there's a person behind the idol. And also that mental health is not a personality trait. It's not something that you show off like a badge of honor. There are people that are going through it and they don't talk about it in the social media. The people that are really going through it, they talk about it in the proper places, usually in a very private session, or with their friends or with their people, but they don't expose it, to the social media. Because like I was mentioning the other day when we were talking about, Twitter and everything, you can expect empathy from a social media, from someone's random comment. So I think that it's a bit disrespectful to put yourself like, oh, because I was depressed, or because I had been struggling. It's okay, I get it. You are really, like, you are not doing okay. Like, I get it. You are not doing okay. But at the same time, we are talking about a different case. We are talking about someone that we don't know much about. We are talking about, a public figure. So, let's not try to put everything in the same box, and because in our need to sometimes understand or try to bring understanding to what's going on, sometimes we want so bad to be like, oh, this is happening because this and maybe this, and the truth is that probably we we will never know, and there could be things hidden from us. There could be things hidden from us, like literally. Um, Actually, guys, wait a minute for me because my dad is talking on the phone and he's shouting. So I'm going to close the door. Wait for me a second. Yeah, let's not bring that subject anyways. Marina, let's not bring that like that word. Um, so if they say any before the end of the, it must be very honest. Yeah, I just think that I mean I that's why I really was I was asking people on Discord, about that. I had people in the comment sections of my only video that I did for him a year and a half or a year and 3 months ago. Like not this Aquarius season, the year before. It was the only time that I read for him. And suddenly people are starting to watch it and they are commenting like at the moment. So some of them were writing to me like, oh, because this is what happened, oh, they said that is this, they said that is that. Even there's someone that I also want to clarify this because I think that is important to, when we think about a tarot card and when we think about the card of death, the death card, it doesn't necessarily has to do with literally death card or the death. It's not about that. Of course, that now, if we look back at it, at that specific spread, maybe we could, with what we know today, we could give it a different interpretation. But also, let's not be that obvious. Like, of course, that I don't pretend that people know the meanings of the cards, but I want to let you know that the death card and that you pull the death card, it doesn't mean that you are going to die. It means transformation. It means major changes. So I think that people shouldn't associate everything, because that's a bit morbid, honestly. Like I had to rewatch it myself because I was like, okay, maybe I saw something, and actually, like, I was listening to it again. I was watching it again, and I honestly I feel so sorry because actually I think that I did rant a lot in that tarot reading. I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was very excited. It was the first time that I actually paid attention to him because he was in this performance with my biases, with the Stray Kids Lino, with the boys Chujon, the boys Q, and I watched that performance of Tiger Inside, and also I watched him in the Knowing Bros special for the beginning of the Tiger, the year of the Tiger. They did a special episode. I also watched that and I fell in love with his personality, and it was the first time that I paid attention to him. So I did rant a lot about other idols in that reading. I look at it now and I'm like, oh, that reading was awful. But what I can take out of that is that I did an emphasis on his health. That there was something in there about his vitality, which is a word that I repeated a lot through the reading, and I don't know why. There was something in there. There was a fear, there was something. So, I don't know, guys. I just think that and honestly, back then I didn't see it also like depression, nor because it wasn't about that, but it was about probably like a chronic pain, something that he was dealing with internally that he couldn't figure out. But it seemed like since we had the last card was the moon card. For me, it was like he was trying to cover it, or actually like try to minimize it, because he had back then, or at least what I read for him that year, he had a lot of things. Hello, Hope. A lot of things to look forward to, probably a lot of appearances, and a lot of things. So probably, he would be very busy that year. I believe he was. I don't remember exactly. Um, but I did mention health. I did mention that, and like I always tell you, for me this is not about like accuracy or trying to be like, oh, okay, like I'm reviewing my reading um, to see this and that. For me, it's about also learning about what did I see back then. Because actually, for example, if I take that same spread for someone else, and I pull the same cards again, probably I would read differently. I would come out with other different, like, because usually those cards, it's not a combination that you're like, oh, this is a health issue, or this is something of the body, and I don't know why that combination for me, it rang a bell. I was like, there's something in there, there's a condition in there, there's something in there, there's something that 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 is there, is hidden, it's in the unconscious, sometimes it appears, sometimes it goes away. He should be pendant on that, but I don't know. It's been a year and 3 months, I believe, and I cannot believe this. But at the same time, I was like, I was talking to Laura because Laura was one of the few, because back then when I did it, I believe 3 people only commented on the comment section, and Laura was one of them. And she told me, yeah, you told me about his health condition, and that feedback also, like, I was in that moment, I was like, oh, okay, maybe, it has to do with this. But I don't know. I don't know. It's so shocking. It's so, and at the same time, I was talking to Laura the other day, and I was like, I don't know who recommended me to read for him, but I am very happy that I did back then. I'm very happy that I did. That I even like pull cards for him once, like for me, honestly, I didn't see depression. I didn't see obsessive thinking. You know me. We had very specific cards sometimes when we think about mental health. There are the swords usually, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands. These are very usually the idols that are very demanded. They usually get these cards. But in his case, I remember it was more about, he had the Ace of Wands, that is like the card of the passionate beginning, the fire burning inside of you, and it's like he had the moon next to it. So there was like a lower in his energy because of that. There was like, he could show passion, but at the same time there was like something hidden or blocked about that, about his stamina, about his efforts, about his strengths, about his actions, about his movement. It could also be his blood. I don't know. Honestly, back then, cards that indicate mental struggle, overthinking, I didn't get. Of course, it was a very brief one, but that's what I remember. And you know that sometimes I do mention that when I pull cards for some people that you ask me, can you read for this? And you know, I always am like, please, like, take care of, especially the females. I'm like, please, guys, you know, these are very sensitive females. You know, these are very sensitive people. These are people that are feeling very sensitive, or these are people that are feeling very erratic inside. So please be gentle. Please leave them alone. Like, stop with the criticism. Stop. And you know, of course, that, you know, here we are just like 5, 6 people. It's not that I'm going to change the world with my description of tarot cards, but I think that the cards had show it. The cards had show it. I had been reading for them and I had been saying it. I had pulled cards for Jackson, I had pulled cards for other idols, and I didn't hide it. I was like, let's give them space. Give them space. Like, do not jump into conclusions. Like, oh, okay, because he's acting like this and this and this, and maybe this means no. Let them go through what they're going through, you know, and if at least from our place, what we can do, if we cannot like stop the criticism, is actually not engage. Not engage. Or if you see that someone is starting the conversation and it's like, oh, you know, I heard a rumor, and us, me included as well, being able to be like, okay, I'm gone. Like, I get it, but I don't want to be part of this conversation. It doesn't help. It doesn't add to me like a person. I don't want to know, you know. My friend has a serious digestive issue, very debilitating. Yeah, that's the word, Hope. Debilitating. It was debilitating. It lowered his strength. You know, like it. That was the word that in English that I couldn't find, because you know I'm no expert in English. There are some like words that, but I was like in the reading I was struggling. I was like, I didn't know how to, but for me it was like this is making him feel weak, like, but really. I don't know. A lot of things can happen in a year. Yes, exactly. And I think Orea is very common, horrible. Yes, unfortunately, especially in that industry, and health issue can also take a toll on mental health. Yes, because I think that since the moon was the last card, there was something about him trying to conceal it, you know, and hide it, actually, trying to, you know. The moon card also is a card that talks about things that we cannot see, or things that appear in our unconscious, but we are still in the dark. We don't want to face them. We don't want to, you know, see them because they are in the dark. But somehow, maybe when you go to sleep, when you are relaxed, you know, you start like having some signs that, you know, oh, maybe, you know, or maybe fears as well, like, oh, you know, could this be trying to keep it hidden. But I think that you know, it's I don't know how can we, you know, because I was thinking about this. I was like, okay, but we as community, what can we learn from this? Because I'm sure there's lesson behind all this. And I was thinking, like, I remember watching a video of a girl that she was very, very frustrated. She was angry. And this is also something that it's very valid for you to feel angry at the industry, at the people that manages them, at the haters, at whoever. You feel a sort of, anger. That's okay. That's valid as well. Because there are some things that you're like, how come? Why is this happening again? I read for them, but only saw everything as an MB concept. To be honest, the fact that it happened just after this very nasty fight between K-pop fandoms on Twitter feels like karma. That also, we had last week, we had this very nasty situation. We were a bit sick of it. We were a bit like disgusted by it. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. Like, actually, like, I think that it's a mix of emotions. It's a bit of being tired emotionally, because I think that you write your condolences, you express how you feel, you type a few words, you communicate with others, we talk about it, we let it out, but then what? you know Something has to change. Something has to change. And definitely, like Mariana asked here, do you feel the emptiness? Yes, I do feel it. And that's the worst. Feeling the emptiness. Feeling a sort of like, like, as much as I try to make sense of it and I try to be like, okay, one day at a time, it goes from frustration to feeling very sad to feeling empty. And that's the whole cycle. It goes back around, it's like this. And so I have no idea. I have no idea how to. And not to mention that also there are people that are going through also personal things. Each one of us have a history. We also lose people in real life. We have our history of losses as well. So this sort of resonates, with maybe past experiences of losing someone meaningful, someone significant, a significant person for us. I feel like idols have been a bit more open about their mental struggles recently, a bit more transparent. Hey Samara, Moomin was the first K-pop idol I had a bias on. It's just that he was so so beautiful. He was so beautiful. So I don't understand. The like I don't. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to understand. It's hard to. I definitely. And there's also a lot of mystery in that, because you're like, okay, we may have knowledge about a lot of things. We may have knowledge about a lot of things. We may have a lot of discoveries, a lot of information, a lot of content available, but at the end, we don't know anything. That's the reality. I was thought the news were fake. Me too, Laura. Me too, because I came back from my cousin's birthday. I went over to her house to say hi to her, to say hi to my godson that I haven't seen him in a while, and I was very happy. And all of a sudden, like I sat down, and I was like, I opened Twitter. And that was the first thing I saw. And also it came out of this page of Zumpi that I usually feel like they are very sensationalist, so I don't know what to believe. And I saw his picture and I saw the headline and I was like, what a morbid and awful joke. Who wrote this? That was the first thing that I thought, that it was a very awful joke. I was like, who dares to write this? So I went over to my WhatsApp where I have like my chat with my army friends, and one of them was sharing the same capture, the same screenshot of what I just read. And I couldn't believe it. I was shocked, really. Like, I don't know, everything changed. Yeah, I took a nap and then I woke up to everyone alerting me to his passing. Like yes, sometimes seems like a clickbait or sick troll. Yeah, I was like, who dares to write something like this? Like, this was an awful. Who wrote this? I was really, really, really. I just saw it and I was like, oh no, this is wrong. This is so sick. Like, who does this? This was my level of, and I think that also contributes to the feeling of emptiness, because at the end of the day, it had been a few days and we are still in denial. I mean, I know I am. I talk for myself. Sometimes I think that I got it. I think that, and also, for example, if I scroll through TikTok, if I scroll to Twitter, everyone is talking about it. Everyone is doing videos about it. There are his images, and it's so. But it was well known that he has issues with his heart. Just that's the thing. I would want, if there are responsibles, I would want to see them pay. Like, I would want a proper acknowledgement of what were the circumstances. Like, I don't want to know the details. I don't want to know what you saw, what you found. But I want, if there's, like, there has to be a better like research. I don't know. There has to be a better, because it seems like it's easy to say, like, oh yeah, it was his decision, so yeah, case closed. And of course, the person is not here to defend themselves or to tell their side of the story. So yes, like, okay, done, bye, closed. So that's why I think that this is part also of the anger. It's like, okay, this happened. What do we do? How do we prevent this from happening? I I had clients with these tendencies. I had accompanied them in a therapeutic way, in a psychological way. I had been there for them. And it's a whole process. Yes, it takes time, and you also have the uncertainty that at the end is their life and their decision. But as long as they know that they have one person that listens to them, you make a huge difference. And you also educate them to talk about how they feel, and you also educate people around them, because you have to also be educated about recognizing the signs. And this is not about, to throw a diagnosis on people, because there's also the misuse of psychological terms that I'm really fed up. I'm really fed up with people like diagnosing themselves with, oh, I have this, I have that. Yeah, like I get it. But like I said, it's not a badge of honor. Instead of letting everyone that you have it, like go inwards and work on yourself. Work. Take care of it. Take care of it. Having a mental health issue is not a personality trait. It's not pretty. It's not glamorous. Usually the people that go through it, it takes a long time for them to even being able to be like, oh yeah, I think I'm different. I feel like I feel different. I'm sick of all the pieces that came out when it hadn't even been a day yet. Yeah. My second thought was concern for other idols and their vulnerability. Yes. Exactly. Exactly, Hope. Because for me, honestly, I'm also worried for the people that probably are considering it at this moment. Or it had always been there. So if we have like somehow a pattern here where idols or actors, they had been feeling like this and they had, come to this an end, how can we do this to prevent this? Because somehow the buying of albums and the buying of PCs and the buying of concert tickets is not working. So it's like, and I think that honestly, I wish we could see like a change in the laws, a change in their management. These are very fragile people. These are very vulnerable people. These are people that are like, basically they are like exposed to criticism, to people like dissecting their image and being like, oh yes, I don't like this about you, and I don't like this about you, and I don't like your group, and my group is better. And and this is why when we think about anger and when we think about what we witnessed the prior week, the fan wars, and now everyone, all of a sudden everyone is empathic. Everyone has become into an angel. Everyone is an angel right now. So, I think that that's why I understand if the fans of the group are actually remaining silent and they are not engaging in social media. I totally understand, and I would actually advise them to do this, because there was some people that actually they were talking about this, and I was like, actually that actually makes sense, because there were some people talking about him, and this person was like, you probably didn't know who he was like 5 hours ago, and now all of the sudden you are offering your condolences. Like, you probably didn't even know what part of, who in the group he was, you know. Like, so let's be real also about that, you know, about, you know, like, oh, because, oh, you know, this is happening, I'm also going to talk about it, or I'm also going to do a video talking about it, you know. And honestly, like, from my experience, from what I'm witnessing now with the video that I did a year and 3 months ago, that I'm seeing that it has more views, definitely there's something that people were paying attention to. Now they're paying attention to a tarot reading about him. But when I delivered it, nobody was watching it except for Laura, and three other people that were very kind to give me a feedback, and they were like, oh yes, because, you know, this is his history, he's like this. And also the people that recommended me to him, that they were like, oh, I would want a reading for him. So, because honestly, like, I would always get requests for Tai Wu. Then the others members, I never done a reading for them. And for Rocky, I did it because you remember that when he left the group, that's why there were some people in the community that they were like, you know, I'm worried about him. Please, can you do a reading for him? So all of a sudden, it seems like, you know, it's everywhere. His name is in everyone's mouth. But back then, you know, there was no one like said something. So, you know, I think that I understand if the fans get upset and they are like, okay, stop cloud chasing, stop it. Like, stop it. Be respectful. Be respectful. This is their moment. And probably, you know, like I was telling you guys, I'm not a fan. Like I said in that video, you know, I didn't know much about him. But someone here in my community, someone said, hey, can you please do a reading for him? So I take that experience and I take it with me, and I am thankful. I am thankful that I was able to do it back then. I was thankful. I had the experience. I read for him. But just like I always tell you, a tarot reading can change at any minute. Life can change at any minute. So we'll never know. We'll never know. So you know, now trying to you know, read yesterday's news and being like, oh, we should have known. Yeah, but we didn't. We didn't see it. And yes, we feel guilty. And yes, we feel hurt. This is our reality now. I mean, you can live other way, but tolerate suffering is not a way to live. Losing a family member is too much for anyone to bear. I hope the family is being respected. Yeah. I hope a lot of consciousness for the family to let go the suffering and know he's better now. Yes, they did cloud chase. Do I stand Astro? No, but the amount of disrespect makes me want to fight. Yeah, I know, Samara. I know. We noticed your silence in Discord, and we were like, okay, yeah, we get it. We get it. That's why I was like, okay, if you guys are not ready to talk about it, I definitely, like, I respect that. You are part of my community, so whatever you feel like is right, do it. But I think that it's also I want to have this moment with you guys. I want to be there for you. Because this is like my role now. This is what I've been doing with you. We had laughed, we had witnessed a lot of great things, a lot of great comebacks, a lot of jokes, a lot of great moments, but we are also witnessing and we are going through loss. We are going through grief. So this is not, this is not like about like cloud chasing. This is why, I will probably put this on private, because it's not for people to be like, oh, like they're talking about him. No, we don't claim we know these people. But I think that it's important to be like, okay, here, now, today, I feel like this. I feel like I lost someone. And he wasn't my bias, and he wasn't my family, but I lost someone, and I'm grieving, I'm feeling it. We are all feeling it. So it's better to embrace it than to do like nothing is going on and to keep talking about superficial things and to keep talking about comebacks and about this and this. And for people that are enjoying their biases comeback, I congratulate you, because it's your moment, like the world shouldn't stop, but I think that it's necessary to talk about how for us this is like a personal loss. And that since we in real life, we do not have people that know about the groups that we support, they don't know about they don't understand why we follow these people. Everyone is like, oh, because, you're just a fan, they don't even know who you are, like parasocial relationships and everything, this is marketing. But you know what? I have feelings. And I'm hurt. And I had been crying for a stranger. Yes, I had been crying for a stranger. I had been feeling sorry for his fans and his family, empathizing with them. Did I imagine that I would feel like this? No. But this is how I feel. And I cannot hide it. I cannot do like, I think that in this case of the grief, like you don't need a permission to grieve. Like you just feel it. You just feel like we were talking, you feel the emptiness, you feel it. Somehow things are not the same today. And probably it will not be the same for a while. So I guess we have to stick together, to be there for each other, to be able to talk about it. Like it doesn't matter if the outside world doesn't understand, but that we understand that this is how we are feeling. It's not about us being like, oh, because I relate to this. No. This is about how we're feeling today with the news. I'm still hurt, like I actually like that man. Me too. And that's, and that's not to say that we there are some likable people and some not, but this guy definitely had an amazing aura. So if he was able to have this about him, that smile, that beautiful smile, how can we forget that? You just see his picture and it breaks your heart. Because in all the pictures he was smiling, so it breaks your heart. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But something has to change. Like I told you guys, something has to change. Something, it cannot be like this. Or we have to change. We as spectators, maybe we should like demand something. Demand something, like all together, like all the fandoms together. We should demand something. Like, you know, I know nothing about laws, and I'm someone from Argentina, and that I don't matter. But I'm like, come on, this is not the first time. What's going on? How can you let this happen? You know, like, and also, you know, because we were talking about, you know, K-pop going worldwide, K-pop being exposed to the world, you know, and everything. And it's not just about them being worried about offending someone or some race or some country or some ethnicity or some political issue. It also has to do with them being treated like people. Like, please stop using them. Like, and I think that also, you know, probably, I know that this is not just K-pop idols. I know that probably, you know, the regular, the usual worker employee probably feels the same. So I guess that if they are, you know, gaining all this influence, all this popularity, all this like, oh, come visit my country. Yes, watch K-pop, watch K-dramas. Yes, we are amazing. We are beautiful. Like, come on, please invest on mental health, because we are losing people. Like, you're thinking about, you know, doing your best in other countries, like, invest on your own. Start with yourself. There's a lot of trauma in there. It starts with your people. Don't promote something that you don't have. Because now every time I see an idol smile, I'm going to doubt. I really don't get why fandoms spoil each other idols. I mean, they all make music, and that they love. Like, what is the problem? Like, when the boys were overworked, many fans complain about it. And I think the agency somehow heard and gave them some rest. Yes, change can be done. Yeah, change can be done. But I think that it's not about sending mails, because somehow I think that they don't read those. There has to be something else. Probably not buying, you know, like. Also, their education culture is toxic as well. Well, we were just praising a few months ago. We were praising the glory. Like, oh, look how entertaining it is to watch. You know, a season 1 and 2 of bullying. Not bullying, like that. That was like attempted murder more than bullying. Yes. Like, are they smiling with their eyes and heart too? I really start to concern and worry about Stray Kids, because literally they work and do a lot of tours like robots, not humans. But it extends to Korean values and education system. So yes, I know it's complicated, but they are exposing themselves to a world, as you from different parts of Europe, Some of you from different parts of the US, me and some girls are part of Latin America, so we are all watching South Korea right now. So, if you have our attention, what are you going to do with our attention? There are some things that have to change. No, I don't want the latest Samsung. I want you to treat idols better. Like, and I know that these things, it takes a lot of time and effort to help someone that is feeling unwell emotionally and mentally. And sometimes there's no guarantee that they are going to do better. But at least give them the possibility. Give them the space. It doesn't have to be that much. Give them half an hour a week. And I don't blame them. It's something that is celebrated in their country, in the world, to be honest. It's not human. It's just that there have been other cases. So it's like, I understand why there are people that are like, I'm not going to support this anymore. I'm getting out of here because I cannot stand to lose someone else again. The fear of you waking up to a news like this, like literally I'm traumatized. Like, I don't want to open Twitter because that's how I found out. So I'm a bit scared, honestly. I'm a bit like, and also knowing that there's a lot of people affected by his death. Famous, non-famous, a lot of people. A lot of people. And, it's the same for the others. This is not about popularity. This is not about popularity. It's just that I think that this is a breaking point. This cannot just be an anecdote. Oh yeah, this happened. No, there has to be a change or something. There has to be something to do. It's not just the agencies, it's the toxic fans, netizens, social media too. Yeah, we international fans are not getting any better. Yes, it's true. Maybe in the future it will be only AI performance. Yeah, for them it would be, easier to have AI performance, so they don't have to take care of their emotional needs or, basic needs. Like, we're boycotting because idols deserve better. Agencies won't have to worry about their artists breaking them. I cannot imagine the frustration of the families, honestly. Because if you have a son, a daughter, that one day they wake up and they're like, I want to become a K-pop stan, not stan, a K-pop artist, an idol, or an actor. I would be afraid. Like, I gave you my children. I gave you my child. Yeah, it's just, it's heavy. It's heavy. It's heavy. I'm going to, since I have the oracle here, I'm not going to pull the tarot, but I have the the oracle here, and I was thinking about, we could like make like to formulate a proper question about, how do we move on from here, or how do the artists that remain, how do the community or the artists, how do we move on from this? How do we move on from this? The other day, are you guys in stay? I believe you are. I saw a TikTok yesterday of Felix crying. Like, I'm not sure, were they still on tour when they found out, or is that clip just him crying about, his personal, sometimes they cry on concerts, especially when they have to talk about themselves and present themselves. Sometimes they cry. But I was like, since they they started to relate everything to Moonbin. I don't know if this what he was crying because I don't know they were like yeah. I don't know what he was crying about this time, but there is a lot going on with Stace. Oh. Yeah. But he was crying like really hard, like. But you know why, and this is why I think that it's very important for them to have a place of being alone and being in private, because then they can have these moments of release. Release that emotion that you had been like, yeah, he had black hair. On Bubble, what they should be banned. Oh, are getting hate messages on Bubble. Oh, okay. Okay, guys, let's pull some cards to see how what's the advice of the Oracle. How do we move on from this? Okay. We got the card of Saturn in Sagittarius fulfillment. Jupiter in Leo publicity. Sun in Sagittarius enthusiasm. So honestly, I think that these are very optimistic cards. Honestly, two of them refer to the Jupiter and Sagittarius energy, and one of them is about Leo energy. That is about what is exposed to the public. So honestly, I think that yeah, there could be some news and some changes when it comes to how the overseas or the other countries and the content being more open to other countries, and the concerts being everywhere, and the expansion and the influence of being that worldly, that worldwide. But I think that honestly it's going to go back to the same, that it's about, publicity. That is about showing your best side. That is about, showing you being magnificent, showing you being all bubbly, all optimistic, all happy, and then you have the Sun in Sagittarius, like enthusiasm. So there could be a bit of denial in the community, honestly. Like, I think that starting with the card of fulfillment, definitely if there's some demands from the fans, probably you could win something, we could obtain a change because there's the card fulfillment. And also, since it's Sagittarius, it's all about expanding the knowledge, expanding what we had learned. So there could be a change, something that is going to be a bit more generous towards the idols or towards the fans or towards the community in general, you know. But I think that honestly it's going to go back to the same, you know, trying to create content to somehow, yes, just keep people entertained, keep people entertained. Like literally, like I don't know, this industry is not very good for like a very deep content. Like it's all about entertainment. It's all about like making you forget about, you know, the hardships of everyday life or everyday work. So somehow there's like, oh, I'm here to entertain you. So yes, hello, hi, you know, and honestly, you know, them doing their best as always to entertain us and somehow to keep us excited about the new things to come. So probably there could be a lot of promotions, a lot of gifts, a lot of content here and there. So you are like, oh wow, this is for me. Oh, they made this for me. Oh, my favorite group did this for me. So, you know, there could be something like a sort of like you feeling as a fan, a sort of enthusiasm, you know, like being like, okay, yeah, like it hasn't been easy, but I'm excited actually with what they are offering me. Like somehow they seem happy, I am happy, like let's forget about this and just smile. I don't know, guys. Honestly, the cards that they got are not very profound. It's not about, you know, dealing with the trauma or dealing um, with the consequences. It's more about like, you know, let's keep showing up with this enthusiasm. Let's not let the energy die down. Do you think the publicity card could also mean that we should talk about it a lot, spread awareness, kinda? Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Also, the publicity could talk about this, but honestly, it's more about, you know, probably also people being a bit egotistic online. That's the reality, because since it's very Leo card, you know, there could be some differences between the fandoms and being like, oh, we, our fans, you know, our fandom, we are creating this because we are raising awareness, because we are the biggest person in the room. So actually this publicity could go wrong, because there could be some people, like instead of everyone working together for the same objective, it's a bit selfish. It's like being put on the spotlight, and yes, please congratulate me and compliment me about how well I'm managing this, because this needed to be done. We were just introduced direct message your idols. I mean, already today on Twitter with Agustin release, it was what mostly trending on Twitter. You can tell people are really going on quickly, unfortunately. Leona, that is going to be a shit show, especially now. Yeah, there's a level of a lot of superficiality, a lot of superficiality. So I guess, you know, and also they're going to come out with some interesting projects, you know, because they are going to actually make you feel like actually very enthusiastic about it, including probably, adding more dates to their concerts. And, I don't know, maybe even coming to my country that we never had K-pop artists here, maybe including us, and us being excited and enthusiastic about the possibility of having a K-pop group over here. Or then doing, I don't know, collaborations that we are like so excited to see, that we forget what happened. So I think that honestly, I believe that this message has to do with what we have been discussing here for so long, and this is something that I said a lot here. That is like, you take off K-pop what you can and what you want. Nothing more, nothing less. Like, don't, like, they give you superficiality, receive it. But don't get emotionally attached to it, because you're going to get hurt. And this is what we're going through. We got hurt because, and this is not the first time, I'm talking about my experience because actually I wasn't there when the other people, when it happened to others. So I actually like have no idea how these people are feeling now. It's a sort of deja vu. So if I feel frustrated right now with this that is happening, I cannot imagine people that have been seeing this happen over and over. So it's up to us. And if we have to take some distance and if we have to make some decisions about this, we will do it. This is why, I always tell you guys, like, for me, it's like, I read tarot. Like, for me, tarot, it's a tool to help others. So I feel like I'm fulfilling my role. I'm fulfilling my purpose in this life with the symbolism of these cards. But as I always tell you, this is why my readings for idols, I try not to be so like, oh, who is his future wife? Who is his future spouse? Are they together? Are they not together? Do they like each other? Don't they like each other? It's like I want my tarot reading to help you connect with the tool, with the experience. I don't want to fill your head with empty, random facts about the stranger. Like, I want you to work on yourself. And also, I want to teach you about tarot, that actually there's a lot of people that have taboos and have some, some people don't believe in tarot. There are some people that have been scammed. There are some people that they are like, okay, no, I had this bad experience with this tarot reading. Like, I don't believe in this. My religion does not allow me to believe in this. I don't like it. So this is why, like, I showed this when I opened the channel. I was like, okay, it's like showing myself vulnerable to the audience, whoever wants to watch me, and show you that these are my colors. This is what I do with the tarot. This is how I work. This is how I do it. Like, and there are people that do it differently. And this is not a competition. But just know that whatever you feed into here and here is what somehow like inspire you to move on. Either you move on or you move forward. You move back. Like, you go backwards. So My intention is for you to keep moving forward. And for example, today, for us to move forward, is to make it conscious and to make it clear that today we are suffering. That today we lost someone. Not today, a few days ago, but we are in grief. And that this moment is also part of our experience. Maybe a week from now or 2 days from now, we are going to be talking about comebacks again. Concepts, MBs, outfits, hair colors, dating scandals. It's going to be the same. But at least for us here, it's going to be like, okay, we had this conversation. At least that's how I do it, guys. That's how I am. This is what I want you to have from me. Because I was like, okay, this is the moment. This is the moment. We need each other. Because only us here, we understand what we are going through. And it's okay if we take our time to process it, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Thank you, Laura. Yes, yes, Luna. Yes. Yeah, one step at a time, like happiness should be lived fully. Negative emotions should also be given time to be processed. Yeah? Mm. Yes, I feel the anger, the pain lifting. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of anger, a lot of whys, a lot of unanswered questions that we have that probably we'll never know the answer. You know, but I, we always want to move as quickly as possible from negativity, but it buys us, you know, so we don't take the time. Definitely, guys. Definitely. Definitely. It's tough, and also it's tough how people grab of that event and they make it a show. You know, and I do appreciate the content creators or the people that actually that they are journalists or that they are people that know a lot about, you know, what is being said and that they do translations. These people are very hardworking and they are not recognized, you know, enough. Yeah, that's the thing, Leona. That's they make it about them, and you cannot compare yourself. You never can compare yourself, and this is why sometimes when we think about empathy, you know, we think about, okay, you have to put on the other person's shoes. But for you to do that, for you to put yourself in their shoes, you have to get out of your own. You have to be totally in blank. No prejudices, no perceptions, no nothing. You have to be blank, empty. Just in there, you can maybe have a glimpse of what they went through or what they're going through. But it's a very complex exercise. Empathy is not sympathy. It's not like, oh, I like you, or I think you're cute, so somehow I relate to you, so yes, I understand what you're going through. No, you don't. That's trauma bounding. And that's also very disrespectful. You know, sometimes I see people make mistakes like that, you know, because they want to help or they want to make the other person feel better. And they are like, oh, yes, like, you know, the same happened to me. And because the same happened to me, you know, I went through this and this, but then I moved on, you know, and I did this and this, and all of a sudden I'm better. So then the person that is going through this is like, okay, I better just hush and I don't share about me because you just told me that you just made it about you. So it's like you stole my moment. This is why these conversations or these exchanges of opinions and perceptions, it had to be done intimately, in an intimate setting, in an intimate environment. You cannot open up to a stranger just like that. Oh, because you have a beautiful smile, so I'm going to open up my heart to you. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to have confidentiality. Because that also, you know, I did talk about this, we did talk about this, about actually some idols like really being afraid to hang out with other idols because there's a lot of gossipy people in the industry. You know, just actually people that just want to befriend you or they want to be collaborating with you so they can spill some tea about you or I don't know, sell your information or talk bad about you with others. So you never know. This is a very dangerous and very superficial kind of game, kind of like a place. So if they wear masks to protect themselves, and if they are smiling, it's because they are protecting their vulnerability. And somehow they are trained to also be like, okay, I cannot show the ugly side of me. People don't want to see me in pain. People don't want to see me sad. I will make them worry. I will make them feel bad. And I shouldn't. So what do? I smile all the time. I smile and I laugh all the time. So I hide my pain behind it. So people don't see that I'm suffering. Because actually, guys, you have to be very brave to sustain another person's pain. To see someone break down in tears in front of you. To see someone open up to you and tell you the most heartbreaking, harsh, raw circumstances that they went through. Very painful. And you have to be there. And you have to be ready. And you cannot interrupt them. You cannot be like, okay, you know, I will go to the bathroom and I will come back. No. Once the Pandora box is open, once the box of emotions is open, that's when the process of healing starts. But it takes a while because a person doesn't open up just like that. It takes a lot of time. And this is why people that are going through some harsh moments, they don't even talk about it with their family. They don't talk about it with their friends. And probably you're like, oh, but they seem close. Their family loves them. They had a lot of friends. Yeah, but somehow the person didn't feel safe. telling them about how they really feel and what they're going through. Because they don't want to hurt the others, or they don't want to disappoint the others. Because what happens? What happens when an idol shows a little bit of a hint that they are not feeling well, or that they are not in the mood of smiling? They get criticism. They get criticism. Sometimes your surrounding, your family, your friends, your fans, whoever, sometimes people just want you to be your same self all the time. Because they are so into their own business that they are like, please, if you have a bad day, don't ruin mine. So please, try to keep, I also have a bad day, because we are living in a very egotistic kind of society where, because I have a mental health issue and I have depression and I have this and I have this, so everyone has a condition. And everyone is feeling sensitive. Because the eclipse, because the moon, because, because my mother didn't love me, because my father didn't love me. And everyone has their speech ready to throw at you. So who can you trust? When you try to open up about something that is going on with you and everyone is like, I don't have time for this. So do you have to pay to a professional to be able to talk about you? Yes. And some people even think that you're wasting your money. You're talking to a stranger. You could talk to a plant. You could talk to a cat. You could talk to the wall or do journaling, like write down how you feel and then reflect on it. No, sometimes you have to let it out. Sometimes you have to say the words. Sometimes you have to scream it and be like, I'm not okay. And you don't have those opportunities in the real life. And this is not to blame. This is not to blame the family and everyone around you. No, this is about taking responsibility. Like, okay, do I feel like I'm unstable? I will go and get help. I will stop waiting for others to come and heal me or come and save me. No, they are not going to come and save you. You have to save yourself. So think about you. What do you need? Do you need a place where do you need to do some therapy? Do you need to, go climb a mountain? Do it. But do it for you. Don't post comments online. Work on it. Work on yourself in silence. Because once you open the Pandora box, there's a lot of things to fix. A lot of things. Maybe you think, I go to therapy because I have this issue. Oh, you wish. There's a lot of things. But you have the potential. Think about it. Think about how many generations, for example, in my case, how many generations of women, they didn't have the possibility to talk to anyone about how much they suffered and the abuses they suffered. So now that we have it available, why don't we use it? Because you don't have to be crazy to see a therapist. And it's not enough with you being given a pill. It's not just about swallowing a pill. You have to talk about it. Empty yourself of those feelings. Empty yourself. Let it out. Let it out. They are part of you. So it's okay. And actually, there are more people going through this than you actually think. It's not that you are not that special. If you think that, oh, I have this problem, they're going to judge me, I feel embarrassed to talk about it, you are not the only one. We all have issues. We all have issues. You're not that special. It's hard to talk because everyone has issues to deal with, so you don't want to burden others with your problems. Oh, I'm like that. People can't tell when I'm going through something. I'm so sad they can't show themselves because of the criticism. I still remember fans ignoring their idol's pain on a live stream. Some people even think that you're weak because you go to a therapist. No, not at all. The cat is like, see, a professional. The cat is like, stop. Oh. I saw someone mad at Idol for saying he had turned crazy. Yes, they're especially. There's always, exactly, hope. There's always hope, literally. I think that we should, I would want to have like a tattoo that it says hope. You know what angers me? That it's no secret that a lot of people struggle, yet we still pretend like we are perfectly functional and don't take the time to just listen to each other, yeah? Yeah. Or you know what happens, especially the ones if we are very, we tend to listen to others. Sometimes we don't have others that listen to us. And this is something that usually it happens to us, that we are professionals, that we are of service to others. You know, even if you are it doesn't have to. You don't have to be a therapist or a doctor. No, maybe you are even a waiter at a restaurant, or you work at customer service. Your job, your role is to be dependent on someone else's needs and attention. So sometimes clients, even if you're in the random activity ever, like preparing a sandwich for them, they do open up to you and they tell you their whole struggle. And then when they leave very relieved after they talk to you. They are like, oh, this was great. Thank you for listening to me. And you stay with all that weight on your shoulders of being like, oh my God, what did I just witness? You know, it's tough. This is why I think that it's important to take care of ourselves, to be like, okay, how do I feel about people just like, opening up to me and throwing their issues at me? Like, what's going on? What's going on with my boundaries? What's going on? No, because that's also about us. We are responsible. Like, what's going on with your boundaries? Why is people always like throwing their issues at you? And you don't have a saying. Like, you're just there listening, like, oh yeah, that's great. This is why when people are like, oh, you are a counselor? Oh, if I go with you, I would tell you a lot of things. I have to be your client because I have so much things to work on. I have so much traumas. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not your counselor. I'm just a person. Like, I'm here at the party. Like, I am, like, just like with the tarot reading. I already told you guys these anecdotes of people just randomly asking me if I brought the tarot cards, the tarot decks. Oh, did you bring your tarot decks? Like, I want to see my future. I'm not a robot. I am a person, like. I stopped feel bad when I realized the industry just forget and everyone act like nothing happened with the time, because the anger never helped me. Oh yeah, and because these are different phases that you go through. Then eventually, yes, we have to come to the period of acceptance. that is about us accepting what happened and how it happened and to be able to move on. But I think that it's also very brave to be like, yes, I was hurt, or I was angry, or I was in denial. Like I didn't understand what was going on. Like when I thought that I really understood, then it hit me again. Like I wasn't really recovered. And probably this is we are going to be feeling a bit sensitive for a lot of, moments. We are going to have our moments of like, okay, I think I'm okay, and then you're like, oh, I don't feel so okay, you know. Yeah, they don't even ask you how you feel, but where is the reading? Yeah, you are just the tarot deck holder. Yes. Okay, guys. It was nice talking to you. Thank you to the people that joined. I know that this is not like the happiest life. This is not the reason why we would want to see each other and meet here a Friday. This was supposed to be, very light and funny, but this week has been tough. So, yes, let's embrace it for what it is. And tomorrow I will not do live because I have to go to the dentist and probably they're going to do some procedure on me, so I'm going to have my whole face like swollen. But probably on Sunday morning I will be back and we are going to talk about Taurus season. Okay, so be thinking about like probably I will do a post about the Taurus idols, so we can pull some cards for them and also think and honor that energy. So that is all about flourish, and it's all about seeing the fruits of your labor, and yes. So yes, yeah, thank you guys for being here. Thank you. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.